for one thing, I had to visa wait for 3 weeks. So we kind of were in this visa waiting limbo where we're like not in our real mission, but like I also learned from that experience that a mission anywhere is just as good. Like you do the same work. I visa waited in St. Louis. So that was a cool mission, and I had a lot of really good work going on, a lot of interesting stories because Americans are way different than Danes, and we had Walmart. But getting to Denmark the first day, I mean, we were totally jet lagged. Like we're on this plane for 15 hours, and then this British guy is like asking me if I want tea or coffee, and I'm like, let me sleep, like stop. And like everything is just beautiful because we get there and it's like summertime. And Denmark in the summer is just gorgeous. The sun never sets though. So like we're all, like there's like 12 beds down in the basement of the mission president's home. And they have these giant windows and the sun just did not set. And we're like trying to sleep and it was the hardest thing ever. We went to see some castles that day. We saw the original Carl Bloch paintings, which was really cool. If you like look at the crucifixion and the resurrection pictures, like they're positioned at a way where if you look at this like glass wall they have, it looks like they're overlaying each other. So it's kind of really cool. Like they probably didn't mean for that to happen, but it just, for me, it just had like this really beautiful symbolism about Christ. I remember there's another painting by Carl Bloch, which is like the baptism, and it's like Christ kneeling and then like they're like pouring water on his head, and the assistant's like, the biggest lie in Christianity. And we're all like, be quiet, there's people around here. But it was pretty fun, just being in that castle and kind of getting your first bite of Denmark. And so I was like banking on like being in the city and being like super in the middle of everything with all these bikes going everywhere and everyone's gorgeous and dressed in black, and then I like get told that I'm going up to this like tiny little town in Denmark that apparently smells like fish, and I was like kind of disappointed, but at the same time I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. And then I get to this tiny little town that doesn't smell like fish, and I'm in a trio, like being trained in a trio because of the influx of sisters. There was only 7 in the land when I got there. And so there's one sister who had been there for 15 months and another sister that had been there like 2 weeks, and then me. And it was really, really hard. It was like the hardest thing I've ever done because like I hadn't quite gotten the hang of everything. I didn't understand the language, and then I was just stuck with these 2 people I didn't know, and the only thing I could really talk about was like myself. Like I felt like that's all I knew how to do. And at one point when my trainer, she like takes me aside, and it was probably like the hardest experience of my mission. She's like, Sister Hall, like, how many siblings do I have? Like, tell me about myself. Like, what do you know about me? And I didn't know like anything about her because I had just been focusing on myself. She's like, you're not here to tell people about yourself. You're here to find out about others and to serve them. And I learned from that, like, that was my purpose as a missionary, to help others, bring others unto Christ. And so it was really a turning point in my mission. Like I turned outward and I focused on others and became a lot more enjoyable. Like it wasn't me walking like 20 yards behind my 2 companions up there questioning why I was there. It was like, let's go do this. Like the buses only had 2 seats next to each other, so that's fine. I'll just sit next to a random stranger and I'll teach them about the gospel. Like that's fine. And like one of my first contacts led to a really great teaching experience where I just turned to this girl and I was like, I like your hair. And that's like all I could say to introduce myself or talk to her. And she's like, thanks. And I was like, I'm a missionary. And I like started going into my spiel, and she like seemed really interested, but I had no idea what to say next. And my companion jumped in and saved me. But I was like, I can't believe it all started just from me like telling her that I liked her hair. But like we ended up teaching her for a really long time, and we became really close. Then I got transferred. But I think a lot of the mission in Denmark, at least at first, was like just being willing to talk to people, because they're really kind of closed off about their religion. It's a very personal thing. if you ask them about religion and you don't know them, they'll kind of be like, why do you want to know? But like if you go about it in a certain way, like, and you just show you're interested in what they believe, then like they'll be pretty open. Like once you're a friend to a Dane, like they will tell you everything. But it's kind of just like forming that friendship that's hard to like jump right in there.